guess we're on. Hello, 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 lions and lionesses out there. This is Catherine, your coach with the LAIR Studio. How are you today? I am so glad that you're here with us for our World Changer Wednesday interview. I am so excited about today because today is the day that I get to share my story. I get to share with you my testimony and my journey and my rise journey to within my purpose journey of just discovering and developing and delivering my purpose assignment on the earth. And listen, guys, this is not a one-shot deal. It's not like, oh, you arrive and then that's it. You fulfilled it and now you're done. This is an evolving thing. So as you're going to hear today in my story, there's going to be twists and turns and unexpected things and things you didn't expect. And you had plans and then it didn't go according to plan. But God always steps in. And so what I'm calling today is my story, my rise journey story is tripping over destiny. That's how I always say it. I always tell people that I feel like my story was like me tripping over destiny. There was no, I know what I'm going to do, and then I did it. It was always, I know what I'm going to do, and then it doesn't turn out the way it looked like in my head. and is it that I did all the wrong things? No, is that I stepped out, I tried, I pulled back, I stepped out, I tried, I pulled back. And it was kind of like this ebb and weave of a dance on the journey, right? And so I'm so glad that you're here. I welcome you. Thank you for stopping in and watching this video. So I hope that today that I'm able to share, that you will be able to glean from something in my journey as I share with you my story. And so my story starts today going way back. So I'm going to talk about my purpose assignment. Sometimes the journey for your purpose assignment is about family, it's about marriage, it's about certain things. But I want to talk to you today about my purpose assignment as far as career and business and the things that I felt that God had called me to do using my gifts. And so this was not an easy journey. It wasn't a straightforward, straight shooter journey. This was a journey of a lot of twists and turns. And excuse me. And so, excuse me, guys, because I'm going to be talking very often, I need to pop one of these to keep from drying out on my throat. So anyway, so this is a journey about a lot of twists and turns. And my journey starts when I was little, right? Like we all do. We all start when we're young, right? What do they tell you when you're a kid in school? What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was going to be a Fame dancer. Remember Fame from the 80s, the show? I was going to be a Fame dancer. When the show would come on TV, I would run to the TV. I would watch, I would cry. I wanted to go to that school so bad. I wanted to dance like them so bad. And I was in dance school, not dance school like the Fame people, like in like a performing arts school, but I was in dance. I was learning dance. I would put on shows with our group. Anything that pertained to dance, I wanted to get involved in. I just loved music and the expression of dance. And so I was going to be a dancer. I was dead set that I was going to be a dancer. And then as a kid, finances, family, things happened. My parents took me out of dance school and I was devastated, mortified. And so now I'm a kid, right? So you get over it because you think, oh, well, it wasn't in the cards, right? You don't think too long of it because you're a kid. Even though I really loved it, I still watched the show up until the time I was like a preteen. I mean, I still loved the show. I still loved dance. And so I said, I want to go to that school. If I can't go, privately in another school, I want to go to that school, until I found out that you had to audition. And I did not want to be in the spotlight. I did not want to be in the spotlight. And I know that's hard for some of you to believe because you think it's so easy that I get on camera and I talk. And then when I'm around big groups, that I love talking in front of big groups and things like that. But I did not like the spotlight. So I was like, I guess I'm not going to that school. I guess I won't be going to the performing arts school, the School of Performing Arts. And so I went a different route. So when I was in middle school and it was time to choose a high school, I chose a school that was geared towards science and medicine and technology and mathematics and things like that. And so, and business. I mean, they had it broken up into like 4 parts. But I was in the medical side of things and the science side of things. And I said, well, if I'm not going to dance, I am going to be the next best thing, a psychiatrist. Go figure, right? At least I knew when I was like 13, I want to help people. I want to help people. I want to help people heal. And I wanted to be there for people because I was already that type of a person. I mean, at 14, I was like begging my parents to send me on a missions trip. And I was just that kind of a kid. I was that kind of a person. I loved helping people. I loved helping hurting people and things like that. You know, not hurting people. I loved helping the hurting people. So, and so I got in, I went into the school and graduated. And so here's the deal, guys. So in high school, I got pregnant. I got pregnant in 11th grade. And they tried to kick me out of the school. My guidance counselor tried to get me to leave. And so I was determined that no one was going to take this from me because I didn't go to the school of my first choice. And this was my second choice. And I was not about to get out of this because I got pregnant. And so when she called me into her office and said, we're going to have to send you to another school for girls with your circumstances. That was her words. I said, no, thank you. I will be graduating and I will not need your help for that. And I said, I have my family and I have the help of those around me. And so I'm not worried about it. And so she was like, okay, I can't make you. And I was like, no, you can't. And so lo and behold, long story short, obviously I graduated school. It was hard. It was rough. I gave birth. Actually, no, I gave birth in the spring semester of my junior year. So I got pregnant right before junior year, in the summer, right before junior year started. And I gave birth in the spring semester of junior year. So it was rough. It was rough. And I had to do everything to fight, to stay and complete and finish and stay the course and not give up when everything around me was saying, just give up, just go get your GED. It's not a big deal. And I said, no, I've got plans. But I did it with by the grace of God and with the help of my family and my daughter's, her father's side of the family, they helped and I was able to graduate. And so because of that, I didn't get to go to my first choice, college. Now, my first choice college was University of Miami. I wanted to go to University of Miami so bad. I don't know why. I didn't know what was there. I had never been there before, but I wanted to go to University of Miami. I was drawn to that school and I got accepted. Folks. And then I couldn't go because I couldn't stay on the dorm and I had nowhere to stay if I went to school. So I went to my second choice college. And so here I am in my second choice high school, which, by the way, I just found out and learned that my high school was the original building from the 1930s to early 1980s, the original building of the high school for the performing arts. So I wound up, in fact, going to the school I wanted, maybe not for the program that I wanted, but I found out that I wound up going to the building and going to high school in the building that school had been founded on. And so that really tickled me. I almost cried when I found out because the truth was I really wanted that and I wound up going there. So this is what I'm talking about, tripping over destiny. You couldn't have planned it if you tried. Like, you find out things and you go, whoa, wait a minute. And so now I go to my second choice college which was Fordham University, which was still a great university to go to in the Bronx in New York. And I go there, and I go there for about 2 years, because at this point now I'm married, but I'm in a marriage where I'm still young. I mean, we got married straight out of high school. We had no business getting married. We didn't know what we were doing in that sense, and we were struggling relationally and things like that. So anyhow, I took on a part-time job. So I'm working a part-time job and going to school. And I said, and I had to make some hard choices. And I said, I think it's time that I'm going to have to leave school, and I'm going to have to see about working full time, because I think I'm about to be a single mom. And I had to make some really hard choices and follow my instinct. So I had favor at the job that I was at. It was a part-time clerical job, and I was learning a lot there while I was in college. And so I went to my supervisor, and I just went to him and I said, hey, some things are going to be changing in my personal life and my home life, and I'm really going to be needing to work full time. And so if there's anything that opens up here, I just would like to offer and say that I would be interested, and hopefully you would consider me for a full-time position. He said, well, I don't think there's really anything that we have, but let me talk to the owner of the company and we'll see what we can do. So at this point, I still don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a clue. I don't have a plan. I don't have anything, because remember, I wanted to be a psychiatrist, but let me tell you, I was a year and a half into this college taking psychology courses, and I was failing at all of them. I was failing miserably in psychiatry and psychology. And here's the funny part, guys. Here's the funny part, because this was also a Catholic-based college, and I was majoring in psychology and minoring in theology, and I was failing in both. Can you imagine me, that I love helping people and I love the Word of God? And I used to get into debates with the priests that would teach the theology classes. And I had one priest actually call me into his office and said, I can't have you in my class anymore. And I said, why? He says, because you are bringing too many philosophical arguments, and it is hindering the theme of what I'm teaching, and you're not receiving what you need to receive. So I don't think this class is for you. And that's when I realized that I wanted to learn, and I was hungry for the Word of God. I was hungry to learn more about God, but this was not the environment. This was not the atmosphere that was conducive to what my spirit needed and what I was needing to learn. So I realized and said, you know what? And I told him, I said, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And you're right. This is not the class for me. And this is not where I need to learn what it is that I'm looking for. And so it really helped me, what could have looked like rejection actually helped course correct me to what I really needed and where I was really going. And so here was still this psychology thing, right? That was still looming, because I really wanted to be a psychiatrist. I wanted to help people. And so I'm in between school and waiting to hear back from my boss, right? So I go to my boss. It's one day during the week, literally the next day, the next morning, the bookkeeper, God rest his soul, had a heart attack in the staircase of the job. And he passed away. They took him to the hospital, and he passed away on arrival at the hospital. We were mortified. That was way too close to home. That was the first time I had ever truly experienced death like that, so close to home, in the sense, like right in front of me as an adult, like really knowing what was going on. And so we were just all in shock. And so he was the bookkeeper. So now the owner of the company, his mom was the CFO and the accountant, but this man was the bookkeeper. And so they literally came to me that same afternoon. The owner came to my desk and said, can you come to my office for a minute? And I went into his office, and he said, I hear that you're looking for full-time work. And I said, yeah, I actually spoke to my supervisor. I don't want to name names, my supervisor yesterday, and I mentioned it to him, and he says, how would you feel about taking over the bookkeeper's position? I said, but I'm not a bookkeeper. And he said, that's okay. He said, I've seen your work enough to know that we can trust you. So he said, how would you feel if you went back to school? Because he knew I was in school, but he knew that I was having to leave school. He said, how would you feel if you went back to school, but you went at night for accounting and bookkeeping if I paid for it? Now, guys, somebody comes to you and says that, and you're in the situation I'm in, it was a no-brainer. It was like, yes, yes, of course, let's do this. And that was my answer to him. And that began the beginning and journey of learning business, accounting, finance. I went to school, he paid for it, got certified, did all the things that I needed to do. I learned from his mom, who was the accountant. I did all the cash handling. And from there, it just began and sparked the journey of the business financial industry. It was getting accounts payable jobs and accounts receivable jobs and billing and bookkeeping and all these different, and learning the different aspects of business, learning the different aspects of the administrative side of it, the financial side of it, just different things. And so this was not the journey that I was expecting. I wanted to be a psychiatrist, remember? I wanted to be first a dancer, then a psychiatrist, and now I'm in finance. How in the world did that happen? But God, God had a plan. God had a destiny, has a destiny for me. And I couldn't see the big picture. I could only see what I thought it needed to look like. So fast forward, I moved to Florida, and now I'm still in the industry of finance and bookkeeping and all this stuff. And so I start going to a new church, and I'm still in this industry now. And I start going to a church, and in this church, the pastor happened to be a life coach. And he would talk about it, and the more he would talk about it, and he would take people through coaching, on different events and different things. He would have, like on the weekends, he would have certain events that were more of a coaching style and things like that. And I said, whoa, what is this thing about life coaching? What is this? I need to know more about this. So I started doing my homework and started researching. And boom, it was like light bulb. This was what I wanted to do. Not the psychiatry, not the counseling. It was the coaching I wanted to do. It was the coaching that I was so used to doing with people, and helping and guiding and giving accountability and support and things like that, the way a coach does, guiding you through circumstances, through things, strategizing on coming out of things, and restoring things in your life. Those were the things I wanted to do. And I only knew the model of counseling, but until I realized counseling versus coaching, they're two totally different things. Counseling, just so you know, is past focused. It's when you're stuck in trauma, in things of the past that you can't move forward from. So you need the counseling, the mental health counseling, to help you to deal with some of the things that are still holding you back, right? Holding you from the inside, some of the traumas, some of the pain, the hurts, the depression, things like that. Whereas coaching is, you're ready to move forward. You may have some things that come up and you deal with, but for the most part, you really are ready to move forward. You just need the strategy. You need the know-how. You need someone to kind of walk alongside of you to help you get there. And think about it in sports. What does a coach do? A coach coaches the team to win. And that's basically what a life coach does. They coach the person to win in whatever area of life that it is that they want to win in. And so I said, this is what I want to do. This is what I've got to do. It is part of my purpose. And so in the process, I found a school. I started doing this online while I was working. And so, again, tripping over things, tripping over destiny moments. Did I know that I would find that out from a pastor, nevertheless? Never in a million years what I thought while I'm doing finance, while I'm still doing finance, right? So I take a little break from working and I wind up starting a business with a friend, and we start doing a bookkeeping business. And in the process, um, I was able to do a lot of things. I learned a lot. I learned a lot, having my own business, and I learned a lot how to be a business owner. So, taxes, and I learned a lot when it came to taxes and, the IRS, the state, the federal, the federal taxes, tax exempt things, and all these different things, areas of business. I had to learn. I was in the school of hard knocks and Holy Spirit. It was like on the job training type thing. And so I was helping other small businesses, get their business in order, getting their affairs in order, their books, their, finances, things like that. And so mostly, which is wild enough, mostly smaller shops, mechanics, because, then word of mouth happens and you start getting all their friends that own businesses and things like that. So, and I loved it. I had a great time. It was a great time for me. And then life hit because, I was a single mom at the time, and I needed something a little more stable. I needed health insurance. I needed things for my kids, right? So I had to go back to working, and I went back doing what I knew how to do. But at this point now, I was certified as a life coach as well. And so now I'm working, and I start working, and time passes, and I meet my husband, and we get together and we get married. And the thing I never thought would happen happened. I got pregnant. And at this point, I was working, but then I had to go on bed rest. And so while on bed rest, I realized I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go and do that anymore. What I was doing at the time. And so I wound up resigning, and I became a stay-at-home mom until she was about 4 years old. And so when she was about, while she was, I was home with her and able to do that, I had a vision. I was praying one day and I said, God, what is it that you want me to do? What is it that you want me to do? I don't want to waste any of the gifts. I have all this financial and business and, experience and just experience and overcoming things, because over the process, we're talking now, I didn't give you my personal life, but I've overcome a lot of things as well. So 2 divorces at that point, the death of a very traumatic and sudden loss of my mom, who was very young at the time that she passed away. And at this point, there was just so many other things that I had to, I had experienced and overcome. And I said, I want to help other people, God. I want to help other people. I know that passion was in me for a reason. So what is that passion? And he gave me a vision. And I'm going to share this vision out loud with you. Now it's my experience and my vision. So I don't want to hear in the comments or hear anybody critique it or what it was or what spoke to me or anything like that. I know what I saw and I know what I heard. And so, so I had a vision that I was in an office building, and I was standing with a man, the presence of a male figure. Let's just say a male figure. I didn't see his face, but we were looking out the window as if to say in New York City. It was a city type, and we were at the top of the building looking down, and everyone looked really small, and they were just walking really fast. If anybody's ever been to a big major city, you know what I mean. I'm from New York, so if you're on the wrong side of the street, you will know, because you'll be like, excuse me. One side of the sidewalk is going this way and the other side is literally going that way. And so that's how everybody was in the vision. And I felt the presence of this man to be God. And he said, do you see them? Busy, just busy. He said, wake them, wash them, dress them, send them. And I said, well, what does that mean? And next thing you know, the vision changes to where I'm looking into the office itself, where there's people busy, you hear the sounds. And this is during my meditation time, my prayer time, my quiet time with God. And I see these things in my mind. I see them in my heart. And I can feel my instincts telling me, I can sense and I can hear my instincts saying to me. And he said it again: wake them, wash them, dress them, send them. It's busyness as usual. But when he said busyness as usual, I heard it's business as usual. And I got the impression that he was saying that it grieved his heart that people were walking around and they were just existing. They had no passion for what they were doing, no passion for life, no passion for anything that was going on. And they were just busy, just busy. And that wasn't what he had created them for. And that's what he was telling me to do: wake them, wash them, dress them, send them. And so in that moment, I came to, and it was like, I said, well, what does that mean? Wake them, wash them, dress them, send them. I mean, I can't do that with real people, literally. And immediately I got the translation of that. And it was awaken, heal, equip, commission. And so that was the day, that was back in 2014. That was the day what birthed in me was my personal why, my personal passion, and my purpose. The purpose that God had ordained for me from the beginning of time. He may have given it to other people, and other people do the similar things and same things, but that was the assignment on that day that he gave me. Now, in that moment, immediately I started writing things down. I started writing just ideas and what I saw and how I saw it and all these different things. And what got birthed out of that at the time was a nonprofit organization. And so some of you may know, I started back in 2015, January of 2015, we launched Total Life 180. And Total Life 180, I would have a workshop once a month on a Saturday, and women would come. It was mostly geared to women. Women would come, and we would have a good sized group of women, and we would have worship together. We would pray together, but then we would also I would teach and I would speak from a coaching perspective using the Bible, biblical principles from and giving coaching principles, coaching perspective on things and how to do things and how to overcome things and different things in their lives. And so in that time frame, we did that for about a year. It was about a good year that we did that, and we enjoyed it. We had a great time. We in the process, I connected and started collaborating with. I was able to go to drug centers, rehabs, and just different connections that were made, that I was able to go and speak to women that were broken and needed the help. And that was my heart, was to go and just reach as many people as I could with the truth of God and the love of God, to help them overcome. And just sharing my story, sharing, what God showed me and how God showed me to do it and how it would help me. And then it would help them. I was duplicating things that God had done in me in their lives, helping them to do the same for themselves. And so we did that for the, about the beginning of 2016. And then 2016 took a very, very violent turn for me. And I say a very violent turn. We had a series of traumatic events in my family, in my life, in my home. And for the sake of people's privacy, I won't, and in my family, I won't share what those were, but they were very traumatic for me. But I was the center and the grounding force for a lot of the people involved. And so I had to pull back from ministry. I had to pull back from what was going on. And in that time of pulling back, when we finally got things to stabilize and everything had become a little somewhat stable, I realized, what, it's time for me to go back to work. I couldn't go back to, because there were just so many things that had happened, and I needed, at the time, my family, my household needed the stability and the structure of me working and providing, extra income and, finances and things like that. And so I said, well, it's time for me to go back to work. And I didn't really want to, right? I really didn't want to at the time. I knew I had to, but I didn't want to. So I had a headhunter call me. I had put my resume out. I don't even remember where I put it and how she got it, but she called me, and it so happened to be a recruiter that had hired me for another job years prior. And she remembered me. I don't know how, off of a name on a resume, she remembered me. But and I honestly don't know. Maybe she had a database that she could connect the jobs and the different things. I don't know. But she called me, and I knew immediately who she was. I remembered her. And she said, "We're looking for someone for a particular job, and I think you would be great for it." And I said, "I'm not interested." And she said, "But I saw your resume out. Are you looking?" And I said, "Yeah, but I don't really want to work for a plastics manufacturing company." And so she said, "Well, I think you should reconsider this company. They're not small. They're global. It's a really stable company." And I had a salary in my mind. I had everything in my mind of what I was looking for. And she said, "I think you should consider." I said, "Well, I'll consider it. If I call you, if I want it, I'll call you back. If I don't, you may not hear from me." And she said, "Okay, fair enough. I'll keep looking out for other things in case something else comes up." Because I wanted a smaller, more intimate office, that kind of thing. It was a month later, guys. A month later, I hadn't found anything. Nothing opened up to me. Nothing. And so I said, "You know what? I wonder if that job is still available." So I called her and I said, "Hey, this is Catherine, yada, yada." We did the small talk. And then I said, "Is that job still available?" She goes, "Well, actually, it is." She's like, "Believe it or not, we have not been able to find anybody to fill that position." She's like, "Do you want to go for the interview?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll check it out." And long story short, I got the job. It was like totally fit for me. Everything, literally down to the dollar of the salary that I was looking for. Everything I was looking for, this job had and was. It was a blessing that I almost passed up. And but I knew enough to follow my instinct, to listen to my gut voice, the Holy Spirit within me. Well, I say instinct and gut, but I know enough to know that the whispers that speak to you are usually the Holy Spirit leading you and say, "Hey, why don't you try this? Hey, why don't you go there?" Because God is partnering with us in our destiny journey. God is partnering with you on your destiny journey. So, what are those whispers? What are those things that you hear that you might go really fast? "Oh, no, I don't even want to deal with that." And then he goes, "Don't pass it up too fast. I think you should go try." Or, "Why don't you call so and so?" Or, "Why don't you go here and check this out?" Those are the things you want to listen to and follow. And so, needless to say, I've been working there ever since. And every time that I've had a moment where I say, "You know what, I'm going to follow this, or I'm going to do this, or I think I should do that," it has literally moved me within the company. It has literally transitioned me from level to level, from position to position, and even gaining experiences to the point where I've been able to do coaching there. I have an amazing, amazing supervisor now who she's so awesome, and we just love her. There's nothing we wouldn't do for her on our team. But and so she has even allowed and provided for me to have opportunities for coaching and things like that, to help the team, and they receive it, and I'm so grateful for that, and I'm so grateful for my team. They're an awesome group of people. And so I've been really blessed in this job. But guys, I almost passed that job up. I almost passed up this company because I was too busy trying to follow what I thought it should look like. I'm gonna get some water, guys. And so, so in the interim of all that, now we're in a transitional stage. I'm in another transitional phase right now where now, well, wait a minute, total life 180, you're working full time. Well, what is this, the LAIR Studio, if you've got all these other things going on, right? Like everybody asks me all the time, like, "What are you doing now?" You're doing always so much. And I don't think it's that I'm doing so much, it's just that it evolves and I grow with it. And as I grow, it grows and it transforms, it takes new shape, it takes new form. And so I came to realize that I was doing the right thing in the wrong method when I started Total Life 180. It was good in its season to do it that way, the coaching, but that wasn't what God had called the Total Life 180 to be. It wasn't to be a coaching ministry. It was to be a ministry for community. And that's just a whole other thing. But the plan for Awaken, Heal, Equip, Commission, that never changes. So God gave me an assignment, and there are many forms of expression that assignment can take on. So while I did Total Life 180 for a while, and now I've got the LAIR Studio, because as I've grown and as I've developed and as I've evolved, it has become more narrower and narrower and more defined, and my niche has been more defined. And so now God has me to where He is now saying, I want you to help people step into the fullness of their purpose, of their assignment. And a lot of times that includes business. A lot of times, a lot of the people that I wind up getting is they discover their purpose and then they find they want to do something with it. So whether it's getting into career or starting a business on the side or whatever the case may be, I'm always like, they'll come to me and I'm giving advice and I give them direction. Okay, this is where you need to go. These are the websites. This is what you have to do. And I help them strategize. I do consulting with them. I help them put things together. What are my next steps? It's always kind of like always the, what's my next step? What's my next step? And I kind of guide them along the way of getting it developed and then delivering it into the earth, into the world. And so that is how the LAIR Studio. Now, guys, let me tell you, I'm giving you the very short, condensed version, because let me tell you, anybody who has ever started anything as far as a business, a ministry, a church, whatever it is that you start, you know that you are literally giving birth. It is like giving birth to a baby. You find out, oh my God, I've got this purpose, and you feel fresh with it, like you got the news that you were having a baby kind of deal. And then you start getting morning sickness. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I've got to pay for this and I've got to pay for that. And I don't really know what to do with this. And who am I called to? Who is my who? I think I stood stuck in that in forever. Who is my who? And what do you mean I have to narrow it down to a niche? What do you mean I have to have a niche? And, it was just so many things. And there were so many voices out there, programs, classes, speakers, just so many things. And the moment social media, the moment they see you look at one thing, you get your whole feed is full of that similar things to that one thing that you looked at too long. You probably blinked or turned your head, and social media took that as you were interested. And so now your whole timeline is full of everything on that. And so that was what was happening to me until finally it got to the point where I said, I'm done. I'm done. I don't know who I'm called to reach. I don't know what I'm called to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So God, if you want me to do anything, you have to show me what it is. You have to give me the picture of what you want me to do. Just give me the step. Give me the next step. So the very thing that people were coming to me and saying, what's the next step? What's the next step? Is the very thing that I said, God, I give up. I give up trying to figure it out. You give me the next step. You give me the next step. And you know what he said, guys? Finally, now I can lead you. And I got out of God's way. And I said, all right, so what do you want me to do? And when I told you I was ready to give it up, I was ready to give it up. And I said, what do you want me to do? And he said, and he reminded me, wake them, wash them, dress them, send them. And that was my personal why. That was him reminding me what he had wired and designed me for. And then he said, all I want you to do right now is, and then Daylight Devo was birthed. And he gave me the idea for the devotionals for leaders, because I love talking to leaders. I love talking leadership and bringing the leader out of people. And so he says, do what you're already doing, for yourself. So I was like, okay, devotional. I could do that. And then he said, and I want you to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and do it. Why? Why at 5:30. Are you kidding me, God? That is an ungodly hour to be waking up and have to do a devotional on camera. And let me tell you guys, when we argue God, he just laughs at us probably because he's like, he knows us better than we know ourselves, right? He knows us. He knows what we're going to like, what we're going to enjoy. And he's not telling it to us because he wants us to be miserable. He's telling it to us because he knows that just get started. You're going to like it. I know you will because I put it in you to like it. And then the moment I started doing that, I haven't stopped ever since. And it's like going on 2 weeks now. I'm talking about I can go to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, which I have, and wake up at 5:30 because I'm excited not to get on camera. Who gets excited for that? Well, I don't. But but I get excited to get into the word with the rest of you that watch. I get excited to share and break bread on the word with those who watch. I love to hear other people's aha moments from the stuff that we discuss in the word. And so every morning I get up because I know that when I show up and I sit in this seat and in this chair, he's already here waiting. And so I love daylight devos. It's become my new favorite thing. I love, love, love doing that. And so, the LAIR Studio, I mean, I didn't even have Leaders and Influencers Rise. It was so many other acronym things, guys. I mean, seriously, it had changed over and over and over again. And that was birthed when I started the Daylight Devos. It just became this natural flow that came out of me. And it was like, this is who I talk to. This is who I talk to because this is who I am. This is who I want to help. I want to help those and duplicate what God has done in me in others. And so for me, it is kingdom leaders and influencers because it's who I am. I can only speak, for me in speaking, I have to be able to be myself and speak to those that I adore and love. Not that I don't love other people who are not kingdom believers. I love them too. But if I'm going to teach what I do, non-believers don't do what I do. And so they're invited to experience and join in, but my focus is on kingdom believers, kingdom leaders and influencers because if I'm going to teach you what I do and teach you what I know and teach you from what God has done in me, you've got to have some sort of connection to that. And so it's open to all, but my focus is on kingdom leaders and influencers. And so Daylight Devo was the first thing. And I said, and we had already been having, some of you know, we had already been doing the videos. Let me back up, rewind. Let me back up a little bit. Before the Daylight Devo started, Daylight Devo was always an idea, but before it was actually implemented, I had already been doing what I had called Lioness Rise videos, because at first it was really gearing towards women. And then God showed me, no, this is men and women. So it's lions and lionesses. And so I had to change the name from Lioness Rise because I wasn't just talking to lionesses anymore. I was talking to lions too. And so we changed it to World Changer Wednesdays. And so I had already, so if you go on our YouTube page, we already have a load of videos of Lioness Rise videos with other women that were stepping into their purpose and rising in their purpose and what that looked like for them and their journey and the things that God had taught them and shown them. And so now we call it World Changer Wednesday, where that's what this video is for. It's sharing our journey and all the things that we have learned and all the things that we have experienced so that you could maybe grab a nugget or two yourself to help you on your journey. And so we'd already been doing that. So now he tells me implement Daylight Devos, but I'm already doing the World Changer Wednesdays at the same time. So then he also shows me, and I want you to do a class. And I'm like, okay, so am I coaching or not coaching? And he says, don't worry about that. Just do the class. And so I started Monday Mastery. And Monday Mastery, we've just done it last week and this week. We just had one this week as well. And they've been great so far. And I loved it. I love teaching. I love teaching what I know. And if it can help anyone, then great. And so, where is this going, guys? I'm leaving it in God's hands, and I'm following his lead, and I work for him. And I'm because he has not steered me wrong yet. He has not steered me in the wrong direction ever. Every time that I have listened to the small, still small voice on the inside that has said, go here, call this person, do this, do that, it has given me the very desires of my heart. And so if he tells me, I want you to just focus on these three things in your business while you're working, while you're doing other things, then to, um, I want you to just follow my lead and trust me. And so I know that God has great things in store because he's just good like that, and the Bible promises that. So I expect that from him. And so I'm just following his lead, and I'm removing the need to control what it should look like. Now, I'm not going to say that's easy every day, but I for the most part, I am intentional to say this is what God has me doing, and this is all I'm focusing on right now is these three things. When people say, oh, are you going to do a class, are you going to do coaching, are you going to do a workshop? But no, these are the three things he has me focusing right now on. When he wants me to do something else, he'll let me know, and I'm just following his lead, and it's growing me, it's developing me, and it's doing it in perfect timing. There's no, I can tell that I am passionate about what I'm doing because today I had a very hard time with technology, and I didn't quit. I was like, I'm going to get this video out there because they need to hear this video today. And an old Kathy would have said, well, I guess maybe this video wasn't meant to be out there. And it would have been easy to just let it go and move on to the next day. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I was like, no, I've got to get this video to the people that watch. They need to hear this word because it was so powerful for me today. So for those of you that watched the Devo, the Daylight Devo today, November, what is it? Not today, the November 10th Devo, that was a powerful Devo. It was the legacy of a leader. And so it really, really touched my heart. And so I just felt like it needed to get out there. And so that's how I know that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, that I'm doing exactly what I love. There's a special grace on it that no matter what's happening and no matter how busy I am, there is a grace to get it done. And an enjoyment. And the moment I could be tired going in, and the moment I do it, I'm awake. I'm like energy on 10, because when I'm finished, it's like, wow, that was awesome. I got that done, and it was so good, and we had a great time. And so, that's how you know that you're doing what you love, that the energy just comes alive in you. And so one last thing that I want to share, because then it's going to segue me to introducing and for our next week's video. But even the small changes of, I was going to a church and I had to make a change with the church, and even in the change from the church, I didn't know where I was going to go. And I said, why am I thought you were leading me here to this place, and now I'm here, and now it's time to go. And where are you leading me now, God? And it was like, I would look at different places and it was like, nope, 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 nope. And it was like, I don't get it. I mean, these are great places to be. Why would I not be able to go there? Why do you not want me to go there? And he's showing me, I have a place for you to be. I have a place for you to be. And then, of that, and what came of that was discovering a church that was being launched. And it was Free Church Orlando. And next week, we're going to have my pastors on World Changer Wednesday, because I love their story. I love their testimony. They launched during a pandemic. Like, who does that, right? Like, stepping out against all odds. And I love that story, and they have a great testimony of that. And so I just asked them, hey, do you guys mind? I have nothing to lose at these days, right? So most people be like, you can't ask the pastors. And I'm like, why not? I'm going to ask them. And and they were like, yeah, let's do it. And I was so happy and I was so honored that they would be willing and wanting to. So next week, guys, you're going to have a video from them sharing their journey and their rise journey on launching. And not only just that, because they have 30 plus years in the ministry and in doing business and just other things. And so they have a plethora of wisdom that they're going to bring to the table when we get together next week. But so it led me there to the church. And then come to find out, I didn't even know that he was watching my videos. And the funny thing was, I don't even know that he knows this. So if you're watching this, Pastor Doug, I don't know if you know this. He said, hey, I watch your show. And I said, I have a show? I didn't even realize I had a show. And he's like, yeah, your videos. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize it. I didn't even see it like it was a show. I just kind of saw that I was just getting on camera and talking to people. And so, but for me, that was such a blessing. That was such an honor because it showed his investment in the people that he had, and the gifts that were in the house. And so now I work with them. I'm helping out. I serve there, and they're just phenomenal people. And I'm just glad to be there. So I'm really excited about the conversation and the dialogue that we'll have next week on the World Changer Wednesday video with them. But so guys, the takeaways from today, what I really want you to know is God has a plan for your life, and you can make all the images in your mind of what you think it should look like. But ultimately, he knows where he's taking you. The Bible says that many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord, it is God who ordains his steps. And that is exactly the story of my life. I had many plans, many images in my head of what it should look like, where I was going, what it was going to be like, who I was working for, what I was going to be doing, all that. And none of it came about. And every time I followed that still small voice, the instinct, the Holy Spirit within me, he led me and guided me. And every step of the way was to the next blessing and the next training and the next thing I needed to know and the next thing. And until now, pulling it all together, you kind of pull back and you look at it from a bird's eye view and you go, wow. When I was busy crying over there in that season of my life, when I was stressing in that season of my life, when I was in that season in school and I was, busting my tail, trying to get everything done, working while I was in school, while I was doing this with my children, while I was whatever it is. And you think none of these, that all of them are isolated pieces from each other. No, my friend, they are all the puzzle pieces to the ultimate beauty masterpiece that God is putting together called your life. And so you just follow him, trust his leading, trust his guidance, trust the still small voice inside of you, and take those steps. Because in God, you can never fail. You can only fall forward. You don't fall back. You don't fall down. You fall forward. You get up and you keep trying and you keep trying and you keep trying. And as long as you trust in him and put your total faith and trust in him and the plan that he has for your life, God, and involve him. That's the key, guys. Involve him. Don't involve him at the end. Take it from me. Don't involve him at the end. Involve him in the beginning. What do you want me to do, God? Where do you want me to go, God? Who do I need to talk to? What's my instruction for today? Waking up every morning and just saying, God, thank you for this day. Thank you that I do get to live another day on this earth. And thank you for your love and your grace in my life. Now I'm asking you, what do you want from me today? What do you want to see happen in my life today? What should I be focusing on or looking out for today? And ask him, give me eyes to see, give me ears to hear, and give me a heart to receive everything that you want from me today. For me today. Don't worry about tomorrow. The Bible says, don't worry. How many of you can add an hour or a minute, another minute to your life by worrying about tomorrow? Don't worry about tomorrow. Just ask the Lord to give you your manna for today. Give us this day our daily bread. And he'll do exactly that. And guess what, guys? and he'll do exceedingly and abundantly more than you could ever ask, think, or imagine. So if you think you've got dreams in your heart, remember this, that the dreams of your heart cannot compare to the dreams of God's heart for you. He has got dreams that are colorful for your life, and he can lead you there better than anybody else. So trust him, involve him, pray, ask him. You know, if you think, well, how do you know it's God? And how do you know that you can hear God? Start with reading his word. Start with reading the Bible and asking him, Holy Spirit, I really want to hear from you from the Bible today. Where should I read from? Where do you want me to start from? And then just kind of sit with that question and just wait on an answer to come to you. It will. It will. And the Bible and the word of God will come alive to you. Then all of a sudden you read something and go, oh my God, he answered me. Oh my God. It spoke back to me, you know, and you'll have moments like that. And then you'll get used to that voice. The more you practice it, the more you do it, you'll get used to hearing from him because he's always speaking. He doesn't speak to just special people. He speaks to his children. The Bible says, my sheep hear my voice and they know my voice, and another they will not follow. So you've got to know that you know that you know that as long as you involve him and you have a willing heart that wants to hear from him, that he will speak to you. So expect it and then you'll receive it. And so he's leading and guiding you to this precious destiny that he has for you. It's an amazing destiny. And so the journey is fun with God. People who say that serving God is boring, they're following rules and religion. Because when you follow Jesus, it is nothing short of wild. Because he will take you places you never thought you could go. And you will see things and you will experience things and you will grow in ways that you never imagined. And so tripping over destiny, guys, it's those moments where you go, I thought I was going to go here, but boom, I wound up here and look where God has brought me. It's those kind of moments that you say, there is a God and he cares about the details of my life. So guys, I hope that this video helped you and I hope you got some nuggets out of it and that you've been blessed out of it because I sure enjoyed sharing my story with you. So I love you. I hope everything goes well with you. I pray that you be blessed as always in your coming and your going. And so thank you so much for watching this video today. Like I said, we'll have another World Changer video for you next week with the Shacklefords. And I'm really excited about that. You don't want to miss that. But every Wednesday by 12 noon, there is a video uploaded of the World Changer Wednesdays videos. And then don't forget, every morning we upload at least by 9. You will see an upload, except for today. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, yesterday. But you will have a video by at least by 9 every morning for your daylight devos. That's your devotional. I try to keep it short, but it's so hard because God just keeps speaking and he shares so much while we're reading the words. So, but we're starting the book of Proverbs. So jump on in because we're finishing the year strong and we're going to be finishing it through the book of Proverbs from now till December 31st. So guys, you don't want to miss that. If you need wisdom, if you're trying to get insight and revelation for the coming 2021, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss these devos because God is going to be speaking. He's going to be downloading strategy. He's going to be downloading for different areas of your life. So I took up enough time of your day. And so thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you again on our next video. Have a great day.